Today, on the Cool People podcast, we have the honor of speaking with Ikuo Hiraishi, a pioneering force in Japan's startup ecosystem, a serial entrepreneur, venture capitalist, and educator whose work has quietly shaped the trajectory of innovation in Japan for over 2 decades. Over the years, he has co-founded 9 companies, steered ventures to both IPO and acquisition, and launched multiple venture capital funds. Today, he serves as a professor at Musashi University, where he's helping craft a new model for entrepreneurship education, one that is both deeply rooted in Japan and boldly global in its vision. Most recently, he also launched Go Global Catalyst, a platform designed to bridge Japan's entrepreneurial potential with the broader world. Now, what makes Ikuo truly remarkable is not only what he's built, but the span of time across which he's built it. He is one of the very few who has witnessed Japan's economic rise before the dot-com era, who has remained in the arena, adapting, evolving, and continuing to create. His insights extend beyond startups. He speaks to the broader rhythms of progress, the cultural undercurrents that shape innovation, and the long-term future of Japan, not only as a market, but as a nation and as a people. It was a privilege to share this conversation with him, and I hope it leaves you with something to reflect on. Thank you so much again for joining us on the Cool People podcast, and now please enjoy this episode with Ikuo Hiraishi. Let's start with your origin story. What was the first moment that you realized that you wanted to be a builder rather than following a traditional corporate path in Japan?
Uh, Thank you for fascinating question, but this is also a very dangerous question because it's going to be so long if you want me to tell you the other whole story. And it depends, how long I should, get back to my career. But the long story short, possibly, when I established my first company, that was not a startup, just a tiny company. You can find wherever you see. Was March 1991. I think you were not a human on this planet, so you were not born yet.
Wow.
So the time was, and what made me to decide to start my first company was because there was a regulation change uh, regarding the registration and establishing a company.
Mm.
It means the when it passed the April 1st,
Mm.
1991, it's not an April Fool joke. The initial capital required to establish company is going to be 10 million Japanese yen if you establish the other corporation.
Mm.
And if you establish the other kind of like a LLC
Mm-hmm.
or as a Japanese version, that also required you the 3 million uh, Japanese yen, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the other, if your registration uh, would have been approved by the other Ministry of Law or something
Mm-hmm.
uh, by March 31st, 1991,
Mm.
the minimal capital for the corporation, technically the 400,000 Japanese yen,
Okay.
way less, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it becomes April 1st, 1991,
Mm.
minimal amount of the capital is going to be 10 million Japanese yen.
Mm-mm.
But the other one day earlier, March 31st, 1991, 400,000 Japanese yen, meaning 1/25th.
Mm.
So all the people who have some ideas or who had some kind of cheat ideas,
Yeah.
try to establish a new companies.
Oh, before the April 1st.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So those, when you set up all the documents required,
Yeah.
and the other put it into the other ministry of your company or something, and then they're gonna review. And as a backdate, your registration was approved. Then, for example, April 10th, you received the other your approval. The other initial capital could be technically 400,000 Japanese yen, not the
Mm.
other 10 million Japanese yen.
Mm, mm, mm.
So the reason, the story behind that change was before that, as I said, so you can establish your own company with 400,000 Japanese yen,
Mm.
so relatively, cheap
Mm-hmm.
to establish the companies. So the company owners, the who are profitable,
Yeah.
so they tend to establish the paper companies to let all the bills through those
うん。
paper companies to reduce the tax,
はいはいはい。
meaning lots of unnecessary costs and bills
うん。
could be paid by the paper companies, meaning they could reduce actual profit.
う
So
ん。
then they can save their tax
うん。
by the legitimate the option.
うん。
So the Ministry of Finance, of course, didn't like it. So
Yeah.
that's why they put the bar high from the 400,000 to the 10 million Japanese yen.
ああ。
However, almost no one could increase the capital from the other 400,000 to the other 10 million.
う
So
ん。
that's why the Ministry of Finance gave company owners 5 years after April 1st, 1991. And until then, if someone could not increase their capitals, then they're going to change the company's registration from corporation to the LLC. And
ああ。
if the company owners is running the LLCs and they could not increase their capital, I
Yeah.
don't remember, but maybe they need to kind of the make a dissolution of the company and a liquidation.
うん。うん。
So lots of people, including my ex-boss,
あは。
supervisor, that he that tried to establish his new company.
へえ。
And then he asked me, actually forced me to be one of the eight the stakeholders,
あは。
because the regulation that requires the people who establish their companies
Yeah.
to collect eight members
へ
as
え。
the founding members.
うんふん。
That's why it's not easy to establish a company. But I'll skip the process. But of course, everything has both side of the coin. So such a paper companies, of course, dramatically reduced.
うんふん。
However, the people who have ideas and got something, but the no money, could not establish the companies.
うん。
So and then after about the 7 or 8 years, dot-com bubble days came,
Yeah.
and lots of people, including me, were got excited. Hey, this is the new frontier, so we can make big success. Blah blah blah. However, we did need money.
うんふん。
So the government realized, oh, this is the after effects
う
of
ん。
the regulation. So then they deregulate such a system.
へ
So
え。
then I don't remember, the period, but the government decided to reduce the initial capital required to establish company to the just one Japanese yen.
What?
One Japanese yen.
ええ。
Everyone, including you,
Yeah.
kid,
Yeah.
anyone can establish their companies. However, also government realize the people who have no ability and capability to raise money, meaning they are not really capable to run the companies.
Mm,
So
that's fun.
that's why I think the regulation regarding the Asia capital
Mm,
has become change again, and I don't really remember.
mm,
But anyway, the March 1991
mm,
was such a timing circumstances. So when I was forced to help my boss to establish his company,
mm.
the next moment what I realized was, hey, this means I also create my own company.
Mm,
So I didn't have any ideas
mm-hmm.
uh, of the business, but establishing, creating a company seems exciting. So that's why I decided to establish my own company anyway, even though I didn't have any ideas and I
Eh,
didn't have any uh, plan in mind
yeah.
to start right away. So I was thinking, I just wanted to keep my company the kind of silent,
Mm.
and then when
Sorry,
I
this is in
okay,
1991 in March.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So before the April uh,
before the April,
hiring
yes, of
benchmark.
course,
Okay.
right, right, right.
Eh,
So anyway, I established my own company, and I thought I could keep the company alive but silent.
mm,
And then when I became 30 years old, and if I had a chance, I wanted to start my own business. But the other funny thing is the when the my first company registration was complete, of course I was so happy. So my friend, she's a graphic designer. She created my business card. So I made a lot, some appointments with the my clients or the other people who already running their companies, to say hello and greetings, and I established my own company, blah blah blah. Then lots of people, and how should I say? I don't remember the English word. Solicited
mm, mm.
me. Okay, cool. If you are really, the want to start your own company, I could, ask you those kind of, a project, or a business something.
Mm.
So that's why I was literally the solicited to move forward. So without any plans, I just started to follow my intuition. That's
Eh,
my beginning story of the entrepreneurial life.
I see. So it was like your peers and the people around you kind of sought for was it like advising work or consulting work in the beginning?
Uh, uh, Kind of like yeah, consulting or marketing research or something.
Mm, mm, mm.
And no matter what, but I can do. I did anyway.
Hey. And was that the same company that you eventually sold to Yahoo Japan?
No, 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 no. That was the other one. That was established in also March, but just 2000. The
Oh.
name of the company is called the Interscope,
Mm-hmm.
and we raise money from the other VCs, including Jafco.
Mm-mm.
So that was 9 years later since I established my first company.
Hey. And the first company, did it exit or?
No, the first company and the other company, which was run by the eventually he became a co-founder of the
Mm.
Interscope.
Hey,
So
hey.
both of us were running very tiny companies,
Mm-hmm.
just mediocre businesses, etc. But we created the online research. We say in Japan, internet research,
Hey, hey.
as a the mutual project,
Mm.
and then we got actually the clients, and we asked the other entrepreneur friends to run the other server and the
Mm.
software, etc. then, we were kind of getting to be insane, crazy busy
Uh-huh.
because the dot-com bubble days. So we eventually decided, okay, let's set up the other startup, not the other tiny, mediocre the companies,
Yeah.
and co-found. So
Okay.
then we started anyway.
Sorry, can you remind me what was the main service of Interscope?
It's marketing research on
Mm-hmm.
the other internet, technically uh, browser, server, email, the monitor system, who help us to get the answers of the other surveys, those
Mm-mm-mm.
kind of things.
I see. So you started your first company 1991, held it
Hmm.
for 9 years, and then after that you launched Interscope in 2000.
Yes.
What was Japan like in the 90s? Was
Uh,
startups and like you mentioned the 1 yen thing and also,
mhm.
regulation was flowing up and down, but what was like the
Right.
startup ecosystem like at that point?
At the time, I think no one perceived or recognized there were startup ecosystem.
Mm,
So just small businesses,
mm,
and that someone, the before the internet, the businesses, the entrepreneurs without any big capital
mm,
could do, or for example, ramen restaurant or the advertising promotion,
mm-hmm.
those kind of things as a subcontract.
Yeah.
So not like a tech at all. So no innovation
Mm,
except some. So I don't think uh, people recognize, and actually there were no startup movement or ecosystem
mm,
before internet. But the other when Netscape Navigator
mm-hmm,
web browser developed by the other Mark Andreessen.
mm-hmm,
So technically, the other Mosaic before Netscape
uh-huh.
that stimulated the people who had a sense to understand how technology could change the world or
I see.
business.
Uh-huh.
And I was in one of them. And to be honest with you, the first website I watched, visited by Mosaic
Yeah.
was the adult page in somewhere, I don't know, New Zealand something.
そうだったんですね。
But the speed of websites very, very slow.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And no video, just a static picture.
へえ。
But that was my first experience actually used the internet, and that made me realize this is a revolution,
うん。
and going to change the world.
うんうん
Anyhow, I don't know how and what, but I was convinced
うん。
uh, we are going to be into a digitized world.
うん。
And also, this conversation kind of reminded me of the one thought.
Yeah.
Uh, I could recognize how technology is, how can I say, beneficial or to change the world. But I'm not the other engineer types,
う
so I
ん。
could not code anything.
うん。
I was so worried,
うん。
and the other, how should I say, uh, kind of anxiety.
Yeah.
So, but fortunately, I was asked by the other company called the other Itochu. It's
う
one
ん。
of the other five biggest conglomerates.
はい。
And of course, they have lots and lots of subsidiaries or the other companies, right? And one of the subsidiaries was asked by the Itochu to help it's one of the search engines at the time called the Excite.
Okay.
They brought Excite into the Japanese market from Silicon Valley,
Uh-huh.
but because there was the Yahoo as the giant, so the Excite could not get into the market, and they were struggling to fed up with minor small shares
Mm-hmm.
as a market. So, I'm not the engineer. I was not an engineer, but I could understand the business structure scheme. So I
Mm.
helped them, and I do speak English, somewhat. So I was helping them to kind of plan uh, marketing plan and
Mm.
kind of goes writing of the quarterly report
Hi.
on behalf of the other person in charge of the Excite Japan Sun.
Hey, I did not know that.
And then I slowly, gradually, understand how internet works,
Mm.
how and what internet can be utilized.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was involved with the Interscope, as I told you,
Mm-hmm.
and the other startup, which was called the Web Crew.
Mm-hmm.
Our initial business is the automotive insurance
Mm-hmm.
uh, estimation, a quote comparison website
Mm-hmm.
uh, that went public uh, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So the two uh, internet setups I was involved with as
Yeah.
co-founder. So that changed my life entirely.
Yeah. So you were originally a marketing person or
Yes, yes, yeah,
okay.
exactly. So
Okay.
my background is the marketing kind of strategy or
Hey.
research and analysis kind of thing.
Mm-mm. And but you also you had a marketing background, but you had a sense when you experienced the internet for the first time that it would be the future. Like that's what
Yes,
okay.
that's
And
why I bet 100% of my life.
yeah, definitely you did and you were very early to everything because it sounds like back in the 90s people the general consensus in Japan was not internet. Like it was still not there. Is that right?
Mhm.
Like the
Yeah,
general
but
population.
of course, not only me, but some people, the young guys, realized internet would be the future.
Mm,
So I think 1997, 8,
mm,
those years, there were some magazines,
mm,
paper magazines, uh, talking about the internet.
eh,
So gradually, the society realized and recognized
yeah.
the internet was would be the future. So and then dot-com bubble happened in the Silicon Valley, the 1998, 1999. Lots of kind of like AOL, those kind
Mm,
of big guys uh, happened. Then those movement came to Japan.
mm,
1 year or 2 year that delayed.
yeah.
But anyway, in Tokyo, the internet startup movement was uh, physically happened,
Mm,
and they're not exaggerating. The every single day or at least every single week,
mm.
there's so many meetups
Hey.
uh, with the startup founders and the VCs and etc. So
Um,
I still remember that. How can I say uh, energy
mm,
and the other kind of circumstances
mm, mm.
more than today, bigger than
Hey.
today.
So everyone
It's
was
almost
talking
like
about
a
it.
yes, yes. And even if they didn't have any concrete agendas, but anyway, they wanted to talk. about the internet and the startup something.
Eh,
So the everyone talk loud in the meetup venue.
mm.
So after the meetup finished, the everyone's thought are kind of very husky.
I think it's incredible that you experienced Japan in that era. But I think a
Yeah.
lot of people would want to ask you, does the current AI situation in Tokyo also feel like that, or is it different?
Ah, good but a difficult question to answer.
Mm,
Because I I really hate to talk about the other age, but I'm not the no longer kind of people playing on the ground with ambition, dream, something, uh, and not really involved with the AI, young startups.
mm,
So to be honest with you, I don't know physically.
mm,
Of course, I know as a the how should I say knowledge,
mm-hmm,
fact, information, but I can tell you the other how should I say realistic
mm.
answer. But the other from my perspective,
Yeah.
if compared to the other dot-com bubble days in Tokyo, the we call the other Beach Valley movement,
Mm-hmm,
because the Shibuya was the other kind of the epicenter, the magnet of
uh-huh.
the all the internet related startups. And
Hey.
Shibuya means in English, Shibu means bitter,
Uh-huh.
and ya is another pronunciation is tani means valley.
Uh-huh.
So if we put together and make it a direct translation, it's a bitter valley, but the meaning implies kind of failures, right?
Mm.
So that's why. So we named bit from the computer.
Uh-huh.
That's why Bit Valley.
Hey. And that is talking about the current state of the ecosystem, or
So we were talking about the future.
oh yes, yes.
What going what kind of setups you're doing, and what kind of vision you have, and what kind of future we want to create something.
Uh-huh. I see, I see. なるほどです。
Everyone
Very.
was so passionate.
うんうんうん。そうね。I wonder,
25 years.
yeah, like it's it's crazy to think that the meetups that I go to now and participate now in also kind of happened in a similar font 20 years ago in probably the similar locations because I usually go to the Shibuya ones. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's crazy to think. And that was also an interesting time in Japanese history too, because it was after the bubble era, right? And people remember the bubble era.
Right.
Did it feel like a revenge? Like a we got to work hard again, or like what was kind of
No,
not
not kind of
really?
revenge. No, no,
Okay.
no. So because the other, including me,
Mm,
the first, uh, I would say, internet related generation
mm-hmm.
as a founders, startup founders. So they were not the other decision makers at the other bubble economy days.
Hi, hi, hi.
The elder generation, the had a stealing. So
Mm-hmm.
we just, kind of, helping them to
Yeah.
drive the cars. So and the companies or the people who have experienced the other damage or catastrophe
Uh-huh.
devastated thing, the other those kind of management layers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think people who studied the internet related startups have the other revenge kind
Mm,
of motivation, just
mm-hmm.
purely excited about the internet.
Hey, that must have been such a time to be in Tokyo and in
Yeah.
Shibuya. It must have been
Yeah.
really.
If you could, kind of time travel
Yeah.
back to the dot-com bubble days, I'll bet you are going to be crazy.
I think it's powerful when everyone around you is also excited. Do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes,
Yeah, for
yes.
sure. Thank you.
So about one last thing. So if I could express those days, of course, I was driving or I was, running toward the future,
Mm,
but not only by myself, but it feels like I, was pushing from the
mm,
someone kind of, invisible energy, put me into the
eh,
future and forward,
uh-huh.
those kind of feelings. So I could not stop.
Eh, that's a very powerful feeling,
Yes,
for
very, very
sure.
powerful.
And I
Yes.
think a lot of people probably felt it too at that time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
for sure. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that and giving.
Sorry, very, very
No, no.
long.
Thank you for letting us kind of time travel back into that time because I think you have a unique perspective on that. My next question is about more about VCs, actually. In your
Right.
latest Substack, everyone should go follow Ikuo's Substack, by the way. It's incredible. But you broke down like a very stark contrast where Silicon
Mm-hmm.
Valley VCs deploy, $2,340 per capita versus Japan, which is
Right.
$37. But
Right.
beyond the numbers, you've operated in both ecosystems. And the question is, what do you think are the
This is the ones you're
forces?
talking about, right?
Yes, yes, this one. This one. Yeah. What do you think are the forces that create this, you said 63x difference?
Uh, of course, lots of questions.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't read completely the so-called Draghi report,
Mm,
but I don't remember his full name, Draghi. He used to be a CEO at uh, European Central Bank something, and
mm-hmm,
also he became a prime minister at the Italy.
mm-hmm,
So, and he is the economist. So the EU government asked him to analyze and put together the what Europe or EU
mm,
need to how can I say make the economy very energetic.
mm, mm,
And then I don't remember exact numbers, but the he reported uh, huge money has to be invested in startups and innovation something.
mm-hmm,
And I think this is a kind of like a innovator's dilemma.
mm-hmm,
I think you know the other Clayton Christensen. He used to be a Harvard Business School professor, and also he was running a startup as well.
mm-hmm,
And he made his startup listed, but he passed away, I think, roughly 10 years ago.
mm,
So the in his book Innovator's Dilemma, he explained why successful, huge companies
mm,
could not uh, play innovators, and
mm,
why they tend to be disrupted
mm,
by the startups.
mm-hmm,
So I think that theory is not only for the other companies or the startup something,
mm-hmm,
but that can also be uh, utilized as a countries
mm-hmm,
also human,
mm-hmm,
meaning uh, America was built by the immigrants
mm-hmm.
from mostly from the Europe
Yeah.
who were not able to get rich in their home countries. That's why they left their home countries
Mm-hmm,
and bet their lives into the other frontier,
mm-hmm,
the United States. So of course, they made a very hard work, and pounding the pavement every single day, and then they became successful.
Mm.
So the people stayed, kept staying in Europe,
Mm.
relatively economically successful.
Mm.
So that's why they didn't have to give up living in their home countries.
Oh, I understand.
So they were not forced
はいはいはい。
to do something new.
うん。
If you do that, puts you in the very risky situation because
うん。
nothing can be guaranteed to be
うん。
successful.
うん。
So once people, companies, countries became successful,
うん。
they rather try to keep such the heritage or fortune
Yeah.
rather than trying and the other change the other existing the system,
うん。
fortune, etc. So they want to protect from the other newcomers,
うん。
innovators. And then, as the Clayton Christensen explained, the all the startups start from the bottom of
う
the
ん。
business, which are not really the profitable. But the reason why startup could go success is because they also have a low cost structure.
うん。
They don't get paid big money, and the office are not fancy, etc.
Yeah.
Low cost, but the other technically very efficient and innovative. That's why they can disrupt and change the other inefficient system
うん。
like Uber, Lyft disrupted taxi industries, right? So that's why Europe, they were rich enough
うん。
to be motivated to keep their positions.
うん。
So this is just my guess,
うん。
but the Europe regulation GDPR officially that was developed and launched to keep people's privacies.
うん。
But the bottom line is they wanted to kind of beat down the US big guys
うん。
because as Draghi report explained, no $1 trillion companies established within 50 years.
うん。
All those companies are the US companies.
うん。
None of the other companies from Europe,
Yeah.
Japan either.
Yeah.
So that's why they realize they cannot create such a innovative, rapid growth,
へ
game-changing
え。
startups from the Europe. So
う
that's
ん。
why they decided to change the rules.
うん。うん。
But that rather make Europe more inefficient
うん。
and less motivation
うん。
and how can I say it? I don't know the other English word, but the uh, people who beg government
うん。
to help them,
Yeah.
uh, they are protected. So the people who have ambition,
うん。
ideas, and risk-taking the culture and behavior
Yeah.
uh, eventually give up their home countries
うん。
and seek risk money, risk taking people risk-taking culture
Mm-hmm.
and settle in Silicon Valley.
I see. なるほどね. There's a little bit of survival of the fittest, like Darwinism-esque
Yes,
here,
that's it.
right?
Yes.
Like it's like a certain type of people move to Silicon Valley and then
Uh,
they do well there because they have these traits. Then, with the explanation that you just gave us, how does that apply to Japan? Is it kind of the exact same thing that happened in the EU is also the explanation for Japan, do you think?
that is also a good question.
Mm,
The reason why the lots of entrepreneurs, talented entrepreneurs, are tend to move into Silicon Valley
mm,
uh, is because they do speak English.
mm,
And then the of course it's different from country by country. For example, Germany and France and the UK are the entry different cultures,
mm,
but they are based in Western culture, right?
うん。
Or Christian something.
はい。
So if compared to the other Japanese people, they have kind of less friction
うん、
to move in the United States, I think.
うん、
But in Japan, because of the failures of the Ministry of Education, Science, etc.
うん、
So even though we spend 3 years, another 3 years in junior high school and high school, and another 2 years at the other university or college
う
to
ん、
study English.
うん。
But I would say less than 10% of the people who do speak a decent English.
Yeah.
It's a shame. So that's why even if they realize
うん、
we are in the kind of dumb uh, uh, atmosphere and the
うん、
circumstances,
うん。
but they can they cannot leave
That's
country.
true.
And the other thing is, as I oh by the way, I did I send you my pitch deck of the Google calculus
Yes.
to you?
Yes.
So as I stated, the we still have a big market.
うん、
Even though we were passed by the other Germany last year
うん、
or this year, but still fourth biggest GDP country.
うん、
So in terms of startups, they can grow big enough
うん、
in the domestic market.
う
So
ん、
that's why unless the founders are very ambitious
うん、
or founders, no matter how, but they can realize universal issues, not only domestic issues.
うん、
So otherwise, they don't even think to challenge global market.
うん、うん。
That is the difference between Europe and Japan, from my perspective.
I see. I see. It's like the concept of challenging the global market is not even that big of an existence in the mindsets here.
Right,
It's like in
right.
Europe, they
I
they think of that, but here,
Yes,
not as much.
because yeah, for example, Stripe,
Yes.
the two brothers,
Hi, hi.
they were originally from Ireland, I think.
Mm,
So they do speak English, even though they do have maybe accent, but anyway,
mm.
they do speak English.
Uh-huh.
And actually, I attended the other kind of seminar lecture
Uh-huh.
delivered at the other Stanford University roughly about 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Before they became such a huge success.
Yeah.
So he talked so fast. So anyway, so they don't have any hesitation
Mm,
regarding the language,
yeah.
even culture maybe.
そうね。
But for the other ordinary Japanese to
うん、
move in, not the other work for the other existing big companies,
うん、
where the other secure the environment,
う
you
ん。
know, challenging as startup founders. It's
Yeah.
a huge challenge.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And like for the non-Jap non-English speaking Japanese person, there's the friction of language and culture. But maybe I'm thinking kids like me who are already fluent in English, maybe the challenge there is to kind of step out of the comfort zone and build that sense
Yes,
of self-efficacy that you always talk about as well. I
right.
think that also
Yeah.
might be a challenge in Japan.
For example, the founder of the other NVIDIA
Mm, Jensen
GPU,
Huang.
huge, big guy. He
Yeah.
is originally from Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your relative.
I doubt it. That would be so cool though, but no, I don't think so. But for sure, very interesting. Thank you for sharing the explanation
Uh-huh.
for that. This statistic is was very interesting when I read it,
Thank
for
you.
sure. Sounds good. Okay, so the next question is more about Japanese founders.
Hmm.
I think we
Hmm.
both remember the Mao Yamada iconic blog post. He's from Daini, but he made a
Hmm.
very viral blog post where he openly criticized Japanese VCs and explained
Yes,
why he looked overseas for funding. And that's because he's looking for a home run, not just a run to the first base.
right.
Why do you think running to the first base is the norm in Japan? And also, why is it a bad thing?
This is also a very good question. Uh, one of the reasons why startup ecosystem in Japan, technically in the Tokyo metropolitan area,
Mm,
became very relatively big, but compared to the Silicon Valley, very, very small. But in Tokyo, in Japan,
mm,
it became very matured and very robust and very big.
mm,
For example, the money invested in startups a year became a 10x
mm-hmm.
compared to the other Beach Valley days.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason, one of the reason is, from my point of view, the Son-san from SoftBank,
Hi.
he announced and actually brought NASDAQ into the Japanese exchange market,
Mm,
uh, collaborated with Osaka Stock Exchange market.
mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Tokyo Stock Exchange market was shocked
Mm,
and kind of, I don't know, uh, surprised. And then they quickly uh, decided to launch uh, the market called the Mothers
uh-huh.
to compete with the NASDAQ Japan.
Okay.
So before that, before NASDAQ Japan and TSE Mothers were launched,
Mm,
the only uh, stock exchange market for startups or the companies who want to go public
mm,
was I don't think we had an English name, but in Japanese, tento shijo means in front of the store
okay. Uh-huh.
market. But the time required to prepare to be listed at that
Mm-hmm.
market, the average years are 17 years something.
Okay.
So the reason the companies go public, want to go public, or the other, I think, two reasons.
Mm,
The first, the founders want to, how should I say, uh, the contract or release
mm.
the guarantee the loan or debt
Yeah.
uh, 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 from the other banks.
Yeah.
Uh, so when their companies are listed,
Mm-hmm.
so no longer requirement to guarantee their company's uh, liability or the other bank loans.
Mm, mm.
So they don't want to the how should I say uh, succeed such a risk to their
うん。
sons and daughters.
あ
So that's
あ、
why they want it to be free
はいはい。
regarding the personal guarantee
う
of
ん。
the loans of their companies.
うん
That
ん。
is one of the reasons. And the other reason, it's kind of the mutually connected. But if the companies are still private,
うん。
I guess almost all the people think they could not be at the top management.
うん。
Maybe their sons, their daughters, their daughters' husbands going to be top management.
うん。
So no matter how hard they work, they cannot be paid off.
うん。
But once the company public, of course, they still kind of keep their influence
う
as a
ん。
shareholders, but the chance is relatively going to be opened.
うん。
So then talented people may come in if they have a very big ambition.
うん。
But if the company is still private, I don't
Yeah.
think talented people want to join that company. Just work for his sons and his daughters.
Oh, I see.
Do you
I
know?
see.
Do you know what I mean?
I see.
So
It's like,
companies, it's
mm-mm,
a public,
mm.
everyone has a chance.
Okay. So by going public, it attracts more people outside the original
Yes,
group of, oh,
yes,
and that by having more diverse, talented people, it allows the company to grow more as well. So
I
it's a
think
good
so. I
thing.
think so.
Okay.
Right, right.
I see.
So, and then the time, the reason why Son-san brought the NASDAQ to Japan
Mm.
was because the internet was coming.
はいはいはい。
So of course he is smart. So he
Yeah.
thought, oh, this is a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of the interesting innovative startups are going to public.
Mm-hmm.
Then if Nasdaq would come to the Japanese market,
Mm.
then that would stimulate lots of young talented people.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we were
Yeah. The
uh,
meetups in bit.
influenced,
Yeah.
right? And then Tokyo Stock Exchange market also kind of shocked and woke up.
Uh-huh.
We need to do something to compete with the Nasdaq. Otherwise, we're going to be kind of the dinosaur.
Mm-mm-mm. I see.
So
Mm.
going back to your question,
Mm.
so that is the other. I believe one of the other, not one of it's the biggest uh, influence or the trigger
Mm.
to let startup ecosystem grow in
Mm.
Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the regarding the other startups or startup ecosystems compared to the other Silicon Valleys,
Yeah.
we were just studied. So naturally, the people, including me, studied their own startups. What they were thinking about were only a domestic market.
Mm.
And then because the startups, so of course they are not big enough regarding the revenue, profit, etc., or
Mm-hmm.
the number of employees, something.
Mm.
So the for example, uh, still kids, not adults, but
Mm.
the other we could go public.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the when we went public, most of the startups are still young and
Mm.
immature, but all of a sudden, so we uh, were required
Mm.
to disclose our financials
Mm-hmm.
every single quarter.
Okay.
And then, of course, every single day get a stock price, up and down.
Yeah.
And if the something kind of the failures happened, of course, the market cap dropped.
Mm.
Then lots of individual investors kind of criticize on the Yahoo bullet point something. Hey, cool, you kind of sucks. You're gonna die, something, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
that's why founders don't want to be criticized and they don't want to make the other stock price kind of radical uh,
Mm.
drops.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to keep their the situation.
Oh,
And then when they go public,
yeah.
the it all depends, but they can sell some of the shares,
Mm-hmm.
and they got the single million USD capital gain,
Uh-huh.
and purchased the nice condos in the
Uh-huh.
central part of Tokyo,
Yeah.
and purchased the I don't know, Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, something.
Uh-huh.
And they were kind of, how should I say, hey, so you made your startup a public, blah 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 kind of thing, and like feeling kind of success.
Yeah.
So that's why they were kind of satisfied with those kind of small success.
Mm.
And even if this is just my guess, but even
Yeah.
if they had a kind of vision and a mind and to challenge the global market in a bigger etc.
Mm-hmm.
But they are under big pressure of the other stock market, and they were already economically satisfied
Mm.
with, as I explained.
Yeah.
Of course, it depends on people.
Yeah.
Some people, even if they purchase theater condos, nice cars, whatever, but they are still kind of hungry and they're motivated to pursue the other big opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
But you know everyone was not those kind of big animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the as a uh, kind of consequences,
Mm.
lots of small cap listed startups
Mm.
are generated.
Mm-hmm.
So they not the other startups or companies uh, can change the world,
Mm-hmm.
can create or change the world in a positive way,
Mm-hmm.
just are listed as there, no growth.
Mm-hmm.
So from the VC point of view,
Yeah.
it worked because they could get the capital gain from the other such IPOs.
Mm-hmm.
But from the other society's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there is a question.
Yeah.
And then, as I have kept kind of arguing, why no next Sony, next Honda has been produced.
Yes.
So I've never met him or Yamada-san, Daine's founder,
Mm-hmm.
but even he's very young, just a few years after his graduation,
Mm-hmm.
but he has a very big mind,
Yeah.
vision. That's why he criticized such circumstances,
Mm.
and I believe how he's brave, bold. Uh, I'm sure he realized and he was ready to be criticized, maybe
Mm.
punished by
Mm-hmm.
lots of VCs. Hey,
Yeah.
such a young kid kind of thing, right? But
Yeah.
he's okay. And he was okay.
Mm.
So he really wants to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the reason. And your question is why? Uh, uh, uh,
Why is it a bad thing? Why is it a bad
that
thing?
thing.
Yeah.
That thing is because the mm, the Tokyo Stock Exchange growth sector,
Mm,
IPO'd Mothers, uh, as a result, not the other TSE's intention,
mm-hmm,
but the other they have been ended up in the place
mm,
for the other founders and the VCs
mm-hmm,
to realize their stocks. No kind of growth function.
mm, mm,
So in my blog post, the newsletter by the Substack, I think I put three slides into the other that article.
mm-hmm,
So I don't remember exact numbers, but I think 60% of the listed startups
mm,
have no public offering
mm,
after the other IPO. The the purpose of the IPO or going public
mm,
uh, is to get the capital
mm-hmm.
to grow,
Yeah,
but the other 60% of the startups, didn't raise any money after IPO.
yeah.
So what was the reason
Mm-hmm.
to be listed?
That that
So
that statistic really blew my mind when I read it. And there was also another study that compared American businesses that IPO'd and Japanese ones. And I think Japanese ones are Japanese ones do it for non-financial reasons, whereas American ones do it for financial reasons. And I was
right,
like, it makes sense, right? The 60%. Yeah.
right. So that's why Yamada-san from Daini are, kind of throw the other stone into the other pond
Uh-huh.
to make the other ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you guys, you should consider and contemplate
Yeah.
what are the reasons and is that okay to keep the other this stock exchange market as it is?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking about founders, I do have a question about
Mm-hmm.
the founder mindset that I actually want to ask you about. You referred to a quote from TechCrunch founder Keith Tier in your Substack,
Mm-hmm.
where he said,
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs don't always have the ideas, but they have the ability to execute the ideas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you explain your thoughts on this a little bit more?
Okay. I think people who never founded the startups or companies don't understand what that means.
Mm,
But not only a Keith, but the P2F Drucker,
mm-hmm,
he's not really famous in the United States. I don't know the reason why, but he's very famous and how can I say respected by the lots of Japanese management and
mm-hmm,
the not only big companies management but also the startup founders.
mm-hmm,
He's kind of like a management group. He is the person who invented the concept of the management as a function.
mm-hmm,
And he wrote so many books, and some of his books, he stated the entrepreneurs may not create changes
mm-hmm,
by themselves. However, they use changes as opportunities
mm-hmm.
to design new businesses.
Okay.
So, scientists or uh, I don't know, inventors
Mm,
uh, may create change by themselves, but the entrepreneurs, what they are interested in
mm,
and what they are uh, capable for
mm,
is to imagine and design how those changes can be utilized to create new business or innovation. So if there are no changes, meaning the rules are fixed, it also means newcomers are having a huge handicap, right? Because the rules always have been optimized by the incumbents, existing players. But no matter what the reasons are, but when something happens and that affect to the existing rules and that the rules that needed to be changed, no matter how, then whole ecosystem structure is going to be changed naturally.
Yeah.
It means there's some new markets. So that's why entrepreneurs, even though they don't make any changes by themselves, but when changes happened, they started to think, hey, what these changes may create new opportunities, and how the new opportunities can be designed, adjusted to those changes. For example, one of my cases with Crew, which started as a automotive insurance quote estimation comparison website. Back in 1996, I think, there was a huge deregulation in the financial industry in Japan due to the big pressure from the US, Europe, G7 countries. Because at the time, Japan was entirely closed, protected by the government. So no foreign financial institutions came into the Japanese market because of such the regulation. But the Japan was growing and a huge market. That's why American Home Direct, AXA from France, Zurich from the Switzerland, those kind of big financial the companies really wanted to enter the Japanese market, but such a rigid regulation was existed, and kind of, how should I say, push them back. So the foreign governments they kept kind of giving the pressure to the Japanese government, and eventually Japanese government forced to open the Japanese market, like we opened country itself as a Edo period.
Sakoku.
But yes, but of course Japanese government could not and did not want to fully open, because lots of Japanese financial related companies are going to be disrupted. So they decided to open the casualty insurance market. And the automotive insurance market was huge and relatively less risk, less damage, even if Japanese big companies would be disrupted. However, the market size of the automotive insurance, I don't remember because it's a long time ago, but I think the market size was $5 billion USD. big market, right?
Mm-hmm.
If my calculation is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. No, no, no. 50 billion USD. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
50 billion is huge, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
That's why it's big enough to be opened, that to let those foreign governments to be satisfied. Okay, Japan, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
50 billion USD market, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's open. All of a sudden, rule changed just overnight. Before that, do you have a driving license?
I do.
And if you buy the car,
Yeah.
then the you don't have to, but to make yourself secure,
Mm.
you will buy the private companies insurance in
Uh-huh.
addition to the requirement uh, the compulsory insurance,
Mm-hmm.
right? So before the deregulation, so if you buy a Toyota at the other Toyota dealer, so
Yeah.
that dealer has the subsidiary of
Mm-hmm.
their company to run the uh, kind of insurance dealer brokerage business,
Uh-huh.
and which only able to sell one single insurance company.
Mm. So there's a
Tokyo
monopoly there.
Marine, yeah, the Tokyo Marine was Sumitomo something,
Yeah.
and the other because automotive in the insurance the industry had been protected and regulated by the Ministry of Finance.
Mm.
So you didn't have to compare.
Mm.
All the other automotive insurance products and services are the same.
Hi, hi.
So no matter Tokyo Marine, Sumitomo, etc., it's all the same.
Uh-huh.
However, because of the deregulation, all of a sudden, okay, let's design, sell whatever you want.
Uh-huh.
Then, for example, American Home Direct,
Uh-huh.
the enter the Japanese market,
Yeah.
and then this is just example. So they, didn't want to sell their insurance product to the other young guys who drive the Porsche or fairly easy from
Yeah.
Nissan, sport type of car, because the incident rate of the accident relatively high
Higher. Yeah.
than the middle age family cars, etc. So they just cherry picking, we
Uh-huh.
said at the time. So all of a sudden, the comparison demand was created.
Uh-huh.
Okay, which insurance companies would sell best insurance product to me?
I
So we
see.
realize that the unrealized opportunities.
Mm.
And then this is the point. Uh, all the other foreign insurance companies, they did not any automotive dealer networks. So how they could distribute their products.
Yeah.
Then they studied the call center
Uh-huh.
and so many TV commercials. They spent lots of money as a marketing to get their awareness and visibility.
Uh-huh.
And then lots of people, made a call to the
Uh-huh.
call centers,
Yeah.
but that costs lots of money, right?
Yeah.
Then we proposed, suggested website. The
Oh.
people, visited our website and put their the information, your age, gender, what kind of
Yeah.
car you drive, and how long you're going to drive a year,
Uh-huh.
hypothetically, and have you ever made any the traffic accident something,
Yeah.
and then the automotive insurance companies reviewed those the applicants,
Uh-huh.
and then pick and choose and send the other quotes.
Hey,
That that
that's
made totally
why.
sense, right?
Yeah. When you first explained web crew to me, I was like, okay, that's cool. That was probably a big deal, but I think I'm realizing how big of a deal it was at the time because it's
Yeah,
normal
that's why.
for us now to have that.
Mhm.
We have it for
Yeah,
every like travel, 旅行保険, like
it's for all of it. But I guess during that time, that was pretty revolutionary to have
Yeah,
that kind of
right,
system.
right.
そうだったんだ. And you were aware of the deregulation, and then you came up with the idea to build.
Of course, of
Mm.
course. And then the I'm one of the other members, and my role was kind of like in a marketing strategy and
Yeah.
advice to the CEO and the founder.
Uh-huh.
And the CEO and the founder was not from the other insurance industry.
Uh-huh.
The other guy, he was running the insurance brokerage business.
Uh-huh.
So of course, that's why he realized, right away, those kind of the changes are going to be launched.
Yeah.
But he is not a tech guy,
Yeah.
so he didn't know how to, catch the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy and the other, the eventually, became a CEO and a founder, were
Uh-huh.
introduced each other by the other one guy,
Uh-huh.
and then this guy suggested him, okay, you should not do this, and you should do blah 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 kind of thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was pulled in to into the team,
Uh-huh.
and then we kind of picked up and launched our website.
そうだったんだ. So this was like also through the ecosystem and the meetups and the community that was existing, and that's why you guys knew each other, right? I'm assuming.
Yes, kind of like yes.
Kind of. Okay. I'm just curious, was there like a mafia back then in Tokyo as well?
Meaning
Like
a
a
real mafia,
no, no, like a PayPal.
PayPal mafia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like an equivalent.
Uh, yeah, very good question. So before internet, I
Yeah.
don't think those kind of the industry mafia existed.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a company called the NetEdge,
Okay.
was founded by the very famous entrepreneur, the Nishikawa-san.
Okay.
And I know him very well, and we played a golf together a lot.
Uh-huh.
And the NetEdge and NetEar Group. So NetEar Group is still existing, and I think listed or delisted by the other TOB by NTT Data or something. But anyway, still existing.
Uh-huh.
And one of the co-founders of NetEar Group is a Koike-san.
Mm-hmm.
So Nishikawa-san from NetEdge and Koike-san from NetEar Group
Uh-huh.
kind of together, and the other started to kind of like stated or declared. So we are in the movement of startup, internet related startup, and
Oh.
Shibuya is the epicenter and the other kind of magnet to appeal lots of those kind of people.
Uh-huh.
And then they named such a movement Beach Valley, as I explained to you.
Hey, I see, I see. So it was
And then
mm,
lots of interesting people setups,
mm-hmm.
uh, originally from NetEdge itself or the NetEdge community. I
Uh-huh.
think you know the Mixi, right?
Hi, hi, hi. Yes.
So founder of Mixi is Kasahara-san.
Hi.
He is one of the NetEdge mafia, I would say.
へえ、そうだ I'm gonna do like a I'm gonna stalk all of them later. I'm gonna look up their histories and what they're doing now and what they built. That's so interesting. I didn't know about that. Very, very cool. Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing your story on building Web Crew. And I think we understand now what you meant when you said there's a change that happens on a grander scale in society, and then it's the entrepreneur who can leverage that and do something out of it basically, right? Okay. Now, my next question is a bit more personal. I've met
Mhm.
a lot of people who really admire your work and your writing, and some people you probably don't even know, actually follow your Substack. I've spoken to people who don't know you personally, but follow your work.
Mhm.
And your Substack is called Be Bold or Italic, Never Regular, as your shirt says.
Yes.
Yes, and I think I would characterize your writing as a collection of very real things because you're very honest about your failures, and also your willingness to confront your past failures as well, and your current mental walls and obstacles as well. But what is your general mindset that you have when you face an obstacle or a challenge?
Uh, when I read your questions, all the questions I thought are very, how can I say, meaningful. And this, I don't have anything, I want to hide. That's why I disclose my failures, and I wrote a book about my failure.
Mm,
Unfortunately, it's in Japanese, no, not in English. But when I faced with the obstacles and the challenges, something, mm, I one thing I would say is I always think what this obstacle challenge means uh, in my life,
mm-hmm,
and what God uh, wants me to uh, get through
mm,
those kind of situation or circumstances.
mm-hmm,
So I always try to contemplate or consider the meaning, the bottom line essence of the situation,
mm-hmm,
obstacle. Then uh, I think, I don't know, most of the times I can realize uh, what kind of a lesson God uh, gives to me.
mm-hmm,
And then the things happen for reasons.
mm-hmm,
So I just are faced with those obstacles,
mm-hmm,
not uh, hide or escape from those.
mm-hmm,
I think this is the other my mindset or the way of thinking.
mm-hmm. So it's what is the universe or what is God trying to teach me in this
Yeah,
wall with this obstacle?
right, right. For example, uh, one thing I can tell you exactly is when I screwed up Dream Vision,
Mm,
still existing as you know, and I asked to myself why I screwed up and what were the other kind of mistakes. And every single day, literally, I read lots of books,
mm,
including Peter F. Drucker, Clayton Christensen, etc. And one day, I realized uh, was that is the book of Theodore Mintzberg. It's a Canadian management guru or professor,
mm,
and he criticized the Harvard Business School's casework
mm-hmm,
because all the caseworks, of course, they are the others, not to yourself,
mm-hmm,
meaning no risks. So even if you analyze and work with someone else's lives, but that there were no risks, right? Just a logic
mm,
or simulation.
mm-hmm,
So the most valuable, helpful, important, effective thing way is to reflect yourself,
mm,
to reflect your success in the past, reflect your failures in the past, and
mm-hmm,
what made you succeed, what made you failure.
uh-huh,
And what I was doing every single day through the reading thick books was exactly the reflection.
mm,
So until then, I was so anxious because I had a a certain amount of money, which can make a family living for, I don't know, it depends, what kind of life we live, but
Yeah.
5 years or maybe 7, 8 years, something.
Yeah.
But that amount, it was not big enough to make entire lives, right?
Mm.
So I needed to do something anyway.
Yeah.
The Even if not right now, but sometime. But I didn't have any idea,
Mm.
and actually I didn't do anything at all. I was so disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I was anxious, and the when I read his book, as I told you, I realized, oh, this is the thing he suggested,
Uh-huh.
mentioned in his book. So then I all of a sudden I became to believe myself. Okay, I should keep doing
Mm.
this reflection, reading books, and I should not do anything at all until something really comes out from my mind internally,
Mm.
not like analysis,
Mm-hmm.
but from myself.
Yeah.
Then my heart became kind of very, how should I say, flexible and comfortable, no pressure. And the other thing I learned was this was from the Peter F. Drucker.
Mm-hmm.
So he said in his book, every single organization has to have a mission or purpose
Mm-hmm.
why they are existing,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, startups, corporations, MPO, NGO, government, etc. But the point is, when your mission or purpose uh, is completed,
Mm-hmm.
achieved, this is not the time you celebrate.
Okay.
This is a time you should consider, contemplate to design next mission, next purpose.
Uh-huh.
Because your purpose, your mission has already been achieved.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, the if you are Steve Jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's say the Jeff Bezos,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon. I want to create the world leading most successful e-commerce,
Mm-hmm.
but they already done. So where they can the going for,
Yeah. Like the next chapter,
and
right? The next goal.
right, yes, and for example the AT&T,
Uh-huh.
American telecommunication company. So back in the 1950s, something long time ago, their mission and their purpose was to deploy or implement telephone every single company, every single household in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
That they achieved then what they could do,
Mm-hmm.
and that they didn't, redesign their mission and purpose even after they achieved. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they, lost the kind of gravity and the direction, and
Mm-hmm.
then they ended up in kind of, how should I say, dividing into several different, regions, companies, right?
Yeah. That's true.
So I think that the philosophy or the rule
Mm-hmm.
is not only for organizations.
Mm-hmm.
I think this also can be applied in their personal lives. So my mistake was, actually I wrote this thing in my book. The reason I established the two internet-related startups, Webcrew and the other Interscope,
Uh-huh.
was I wanted to look down the people who looked down on me
Mm.
when I was running my first company. So at the time, there was no internet before Mosaic and Netscape.
Uh-huh.
The majors, we can, get the first contact was making a cold calls.
Uh-huh.
But, I could not get any appointments. But
Uh-huh.
if I were one of the employees at the, let's say, Mitsubishi Corporation,
Mm-hmm.
Panasonic, Toyota, Honda, etc., at least one appointment, everyone wanted to meet with me
Yeah.
because of the company's name. But because of the tiny company, so there are no reasons they wanted to meet with me.
Yeah.
But kind of I forgot the four letters. In the I don't know in general in the U.S. or startup the industry. To be humble, my opinion, something.
Uh-huh.
Do you know? It's a T be humble. But anyway, it's an acronym.
Uh-huh.
The if I say I'm not the other superior than the other such a people at the other Mitsubishi Corporation, but I am not so the bad
Mm.
than the other those kind of people.
Yeah.
However, their treatment from society and their compensation
Yeah.
way different from mine.
Mm-mm.
How such a big difference,
Yeah.
even though the same human being,
Uh-huh.
and I think I am not really bad, even I'm not the other superior than them. They are.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really mad at those kind of people because
Yeah.
they didn't create anything.
Uh,
They just belong to such a brand.
uh-huh.
Uh, I was so uh, anyway mad at kind of like a four letters.
Mm-mm.
So I wanted to look down on those kind of people who look down on me. And
Mm-mm.
then when I co-founded Webcrew, Interscope, and the other raised money from the other in top tier VCs in Japan, all of a sudden they flipped their hands. They called me, hey, Mr. Hiraishi, could I meet you something?
Uh-huh.
What the heck you talking about? Huh.
They
You
used to
know,
not want to talk to you.
yes, just a 3 months, what made me so different? I'm
Yeah.
semi-cool.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually, that we sold the company Interscope to Yahoo, and then I was not yet a CEO, but one of the co-founders, and the web crew went public.
Uh-huh.
And I purchased the nice condo in Ebisu, and I
Uh-huh.
purchased the BMW Z4 by cash. So you made it.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if you play golf, but I wanted to make the third birdie,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
I misunderstood my all the luck
Yeah.
as my true capability. So
Uh-huh.
that's why I got Ikuo. You should realize your true ability.
Mm.
That's why God gave me a lesson.
Uh-huh.
So I needed to redesign my purpose
Mm.
of my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started to think, what should I do in the rest of my life?
Yeah. I see. I see. Wow. Because I remember you saying it was after that success, after getting the place in Ibiza, after getting your car and everything, there was a trough that you hit after as well. And that was pretty
Yeah,
rough on you. And that was the big lesson for you to redesign,
yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah, for sure.
And then my answer is uh, I want to make a startup ecosystem in
Mm.
Tokyo, ideally in Japan,
Yeah.
globalized and diversified.
Uh-huh.
because as our population in Japan is going to be shrinking,
Yeah.
and the Japan's GDPs roughly about the other 80% are
Mm.
the domestic demand.
Yeah.
So because we have Sony, Panasonic, Toyota, Honda, blah blah blah, so the lots of people misunderstood our GDPs are composed with lots of export,
Uh-huh.
but the exports are only somewhere between 15 to 20% of the
Uh-huh.
GDP. So
Mm-hmm.
meaning 80% or more created by the domestic services and products.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very labor intensive oriented
Mm.
the businesses. That's why
Yeah.
the productivity of the Japanese people in Japan uh, kind of lower than the tech guys in the US,
Yeah.
and the efficient manufacturing in the
Mm.
Germany, like BMW, Mercedes, etc.
Mm-mm. Definitely.
So the Prime Minister Abe, when he was alive, so he said we need to change how to work
Mm.
in Japanese in hataraki kata kaikaku.
Yeah.
But I don't think that makes sense. That what we need is uh, not how, what we should create,
Yeah.
how we can redesign the industrial structure.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the along with the existing industrial structure,
Mm-hmm.
even though we can change it how to work and make it efficient, but the effect is very limited.
Mm-mm.
So we need to redesign industrial structure and make the industrial structure more efficient, uh, autonomous.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, we need to utilize AI
Mm-hmm.
to cope with the labor shortage,
Mm-hmm.
which will be coming and actually is coming right now.
Yeah.
So uh, anyway, I came to my conclusion, my next mission and my purpose, my life. It's huge, so I don't know if I can, complete. I'm sure I cannot complete, meaning
Mm.
I I can keep, working toward that direction
Yeah.
until my uh, best before date is matured.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely a theme that you will experience when you read Iko's work on Substack. I think a lot of people in Tokyo or come to Tokyo nowadays talk about how Tokyo right now is facing this huge inflection point and it's the time to be in Tokyo, blah, blah, blah. But I think in Iko's writing, you'll experience that he's not talking about that as much. It's more about what can you do at this point as a person with an innovative mindset. How can you leverage what is happening to do something about it?
Mhm.
And I constantly feel so inspired by your work and your perspective on Japan.
Thank you.
And yeah, definitely everyone should read it. I share it to like all my friends all the time.
Thanks.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Now we do have to come to the closing questions. I have
Yeah.
three questions here for you. The first
Uh-huh.
question is, what is a book that you'd recommend?
It's a simple. As I told you, this interview, one of them is Innovation and Entrepreneurship by Peter F. Drucker.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I read that book more than 5 times, maybe six
Eh,
times. And all the pages in red lines and a yellow marker and something.
so it's kind of like your Bible in a way.
Yes, yes. And the other book I recommend is I don't know original title in English,
Mm.
but as I told you, the Mintzberg
Mm-hmm.
Canadian Management Associated Professor.
Mm-hmm.
The If I translate directly into English, uh, MBA kills corporations.
へえ。
but I taught the at the MBA for 12 years. But the what I taught was entirely different from the other kind of conventional MBA kind of things.
Hey, that's interesting. I might have to pick that one up. That sounds interesting. I'll
Uh-huh.
I'll I'll put the links of the books in the description so the audience can find
And
it.
if I say the other one,
Yeah.
the also I said in this interview, innovators dilemma,
Mm,
and I don't know the correct title, but I would recommend the next edition of the innovators dilemma. So
okay.
he published the kind of like a sequence of the
Mm,
innovators dilemma, but the next one is better, I think.
hey, okay. I didn't know about that. I'll definitely
Mhm.
check that one out as well.
So
Thank you.
those three are the big three books I highly recommend.
Sounds good. I will link them in the description below.
Mm.
The second question is, what is your favorite area of Tokyo?
It's a very easy question to answer. The other place I am right now, Daikayama, and also the other Omotesando,
Mm,
because the side trees
yeah.
very beautiful on the kind of slope. So that uh, architecture or circumstances make that area very sophisticated
Mm,
and always crowded, but they're not the how can I say, kind of not dirty, not the scammy or bumpy something,
yeah.
crowded, but they're sophisticated.
Mm, that's true, definitely. And Ikuo is currently at the Daikayama Tsutaya for anyone who's curious.
Yeah,
It's a
share a
very
lounge.
they have a very nice bookstore, and that's where we met in person for the first time as well. And we had a very long
Yeah,
chat there as well,
right.
for sure. And the final question is, what can the audience do for you?
Uh, this is a very kind question. The hardest task thing for startups, also independent VCs,
Mm,
uh, fundraising.
mm,
So I'm in the fundraising with my co-founder Dan Brassington, but always fundraising is not easy at all.
mm,
Very, very difficult, and we need to put lots of time, energy, concentration as much as possible.
mm-hmm,
So if anyone knows anyone who might be interested in investing into the other our new company, Go Global Catalyst, we are one step to the other completion of the registration in Singapore.
mm-hmm.
Hopefully by the end of this year, but at the latest, at the beginning of next January, the registration is going to be completed. So that is the other what I need most.
Mm-hmm.
But the second, uh, if anyone interested in working together with us, or anyone interested in co-founding their own startups, if they were Japanese, the people we need is looking for they are looking for the foreign co-founders,
Mm,
and if the foreign entrepreneurs from Japanese perspective, and then if they are looking for Asian market, including a Japanese market, maybe including a Taiwan market and something, and they're looking for the Japanese co-founders, just DM me. I would like to discuss what kind of function, the services they are looking for and that they really need.
mm-hmm.
And we, Dan and myself, are co-founded almost. And we met with each other via LinkedIn.
Mm,
So we think we understand what kind of functions or the services may be needed
mm,
by those who are interested in, co-funding with different the people.
mm-hmm,
But we do need their exact demand.
mm-hmm,
So fundraising help are people who are interested in working with us and the people who are interested in co-funding with the other nationalities.
mm. Sounds good. Be sure to reach out to Ikuo on this. And be sure to reach out if any of what we talked about today also resonates with you. I'm sure there are plenty of collaboration opportunities there as well. That's all the questions that I have for you today. Thank you, Iko, so much for
But
sharing.
I have a
Your-
one simple question.
Yes.
So the lasted more than 2 hours. How can you kind of edit, into the meet in your podcaster time frame?
I think
You need to cut lots of stuff in there.
no, I think honestly everything that we talked about today was so dense and like valuable as information to people who
Uh-huh.
are interested in the ecosystem. I don't think I'm gonna edit this at all, to be very
Really?
honest. Yeah.
Wow. Such a
I think I'm just
long
gonna
podcast.
yeah, definitely. But people like to listen to it in the background as well or when they're doing other things or yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
I really looking forward to kind of embarrassing to listen to or watch, the our conversation. But anyway, thanks for having me part of your a very fascinating podcast.
thank you. Well, yeah, and thank you so much for Ikuo for being a guest on the podcast. And everyone, be sure to follow his newsletter as well. Be bold or
My
italic,
honor.
never
Yeah, my
regular.
honor. Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, thank you for being a guest on
Okay,
Pod. And
okay,
that's it. Bye
okay.
bye.
I'll give you the this T-shirt when we meet in person next time.
Okay, I'll take it then.
All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.